I feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
I feel everything that's going on. I feel the pain. I also feel love, and I feel the need, the
Yeah.
want, the yearn for love.
Luke James is back in love. Took a few years to get there, though. The R&B crooner took a break from making music and focused on his burgeoning acting career. In 2017, he portrayed Johnny Gill in the New Edition biopic, which reignited his love affair with music. He delivered a compelling arc on Showtime's The Chi this summer, and his sophomore album, which he released at the top of the year, is in the mix for perhaps a few award nominations. We chat. The top of 2020 started off with you releasing, finally, your sophomore album, which really feels like your most personal piece of work. Was it?
Yes. It was a nice journey to get to the releasing, to that place of where I can release music freely. I left the label. I was signed to a label for 7 years or so. And we made the steps of doing business to part ways. And also I had fell out of love with music and the whole rigmarole of the business and creating for money. And a lot of things were changing. So I needed time. And so by this album coming out was like somewhat of I guess an anniversary or a celebration for me. Yes.
How did you start to fall back in love with music?
Well, I got the opportunity to do a New Edition, the biopic. At the same time, I found myself in a hole, and I was just trying to surf my way out of it. And, God is amazing. So just threw me alley-oop. And that was the New Edition story, which enabled me to not think so much about Luke and think more about Johnny and the group as a whole, and to hone in on my skills as an actor, as a muse, to tell someone else's story. And in that, I learned so much about Johnny's story, and the group's story really gave me answers that I didn't necessarily have. I had all the questions, but I didn't have the answers for. And in that creating that, I had time to sit down with those guys, and also with Babyface and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and just pick their brains without even telling them what I'm going through.
Yeah.
But it gave me a creative space, an outlet, if you will, to express myself. And in that time, I found myself falling in love with music all over again. I had to dig deep to find out what inspired these guys. So I had to listen to a lot of classic music, and that just brought all the feelings right back.
Yeah. And I mean, I know that you're a composer yourself, and your fans know that it was a 6-year wait between that first album and then the sophomore album. So even though
I didn't know it was a 6-year wait.
It was 6 years. 6 years.
Didn't feel it.
Even though, you weren't exactly in love with music, were you still continuously writing during that time, or had you really just put the pen down too?
I was still writing my thoughts. Not necessarily thinking musically. It wasn't just about music, but music being, people say, don't let your job define you and whatnot. But, when it comes to music, when it comes to something that's a gift, a godly gift, healing of any sort. In some ways, you find that to be your purpose, Not just anybody can be a doctor, that has to be within you. And for me, that has been a calling all my life that has been put on me when I just saw it as fame. Until someone told me, no, it's bigger, deeper than that.
And it really paid off. And I think that you got to see that firsthand, because you're one of the few artists this year, quite frankly, who was able to start and then complete a tour of your music. Your tour obviously ended in mid-February before the global pandemic kicked in. But of course, as we're starting to enter the season of, awards and live shows again. Do you have any thoughts about what live music could look like or should look like, maybe in this next year as people are trying to figure out, the lack of crowd situation?
Well, I think it can be figured out. Truly, I think that's not even the hard part, honestly. To create a gathering that is safe. Because there's a lot of things, like car drive-ins type things, that can keep people safe. Dave Chappelle is doing shows right now where he has people separated, and these are shows. I think it's possible. I think the hard part is a matter of if an artist is able to feel.
As you mentioned earlier, it's not like you were twiddling your thumbs while you were, processing how you felt about music. You really dove headfirst into the whole Hollywood and acting. Yeah. This season of The Chi was fantastic, and it was really great to see you on this third season. How did that role come to you?
Like any other audition self-tape thing, it just landed in my email. My folks knew that I'm a huge fan of Lena Waithe. We kind of have a history that is really cool of running into each other when each other were on the bubble, trying to figure things out. She was interning. I was trying to figure out my artistry, all that kind of stuff early on. And, there's a lot of people attached to that project that I had always wanted to work with. And I just self-taped for it. I saw what it was, and I was elated to really try and see if I can add something to what she's building.
Luke, 2020 has been a trip. and I mean, it's still, it's really felt like the longest year I think any of us have ever experienced, because at this point, we're not only talking about a global health pandemic, we're talking about systematic racism, we're talking about wanting equality and equity. How do you envision that maybe shaping how you do what you do moving forward?
Well, it's definitely shaping me. It, as I've said, I'm taking on this role. I'm influenced by what's going on around me, how I've been raised, and what's happening today and whatnot. Musically, the same. I feel everything. I feel everything that's going on. I feel the pain. I also feel love, and I feel the need, the want, the yearn for love. So I'm influenced to push that agenda. Musically, I just want to breathe more love as much as I can, and I let the spirit move me. Yeah. So I think, yes, I'm like Nina Simone. I'm absolutely motivated by what's going on, and I feel the responsibility to speak up.
Well, I love all of that, and we love you, Luke James. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next, Omari Hardwick.